Hello.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the All New Sports Show. I'm Wes Bradshaw. He's Zay Green.
Hello, everyone.
And folks, good news. We survived Hermine. Apparently, this had something to do with the Harry Potters of the world or something.
They really like co-opting that, even though it's not the exact name. But they had Disney with Gaston.
So that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Of course, being soccer fans we are, we have immediately thought of Southampton's Gaston Ramirez.
Of course.
But
Love accent.
not what we get anyway.
No.
All right, but folks, we have survived Hurricane 2016. Hopefully, it will be our only brush with the face of disaster coming up this year.
So.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And half of the football schedule got sort of played or started or people moving matches up to Thursday night. I think we have one in postponement.
Yes.
That we'll get to, and then you have a slate of Monday and Tuesday matches. We've had one moved about a week or so down the road.
Yep.
A lot of stuff coming up, folks. And then, of course, this coming up Friday, you get your whole news set. You get, was it week 4?
Week 4.
You'll get week 4 coming up. So
plus, then on the next Monday, you'll have a week 3 game, too.
Exactly. So there's a lot of action coming up. So we thank all of you for hopping on with us this afternoon. It's
Yes.
gorgeous afternoon.
It's beautiful.
Absolutely
cool,
gorgeous.
So nice.
I'm sure my neighbors enjoy me sitting on my front porch in my underwear this morning because it felt so lovely.
Yeah.
Lucky them. I know what you're thinking. Lucky them. All right, Ed. Let's hop in. Let's go ahead and hop on to some of our high school games. Our WHIG TV high school football game of the week got postponed, so we didn't get a game this week. That one, real quick, we'll just say that Northern Nash Tarboro was going to be our game of the week.
Yeah.
They have been moved to September the 12th.
Yes.
Which is not tomorrow Monday, next Monday. So, yeah, Tarboro and Northern. Good luck for 3 games in 8 days, guys.
I think that's going to be especially tough for Northern. I mean, they're going to have to go to Laney this Friday. Then they're going to have to make that trip to Wilmington. They're going to come back. Then 2 days later, they're going to be playing Tarboro. And then 3 days break. And then they'll be going to Goldsboro, which, as we know, maybe won't be that tough a game. But still, the 3rd game in 8 days when you've had 2, what I think will be absolutely incredibly tough games physically. That's going to be tough to navigate.
Then you look at the fun Tarboro gets because on Monday of next week they get Northern Nash, and Friday they get Southern Nash.
Yeah.
Now, one good thing for you Tarboro football fans, you get a lot of Tarboro football with us there because we'll be doing the Northern game, we'll be doing the Southern game, and the week after we'll be doing the Southwest Edgecombe game.
Yes.
Now, what date are we going to re-air? Do we know our
barring any other weird weather, I believe we're going to be playing in that was going to be our open week, which was the 9:30 match weekday.
Right.
So that'll be, I guess, October 1st.
October 1st, that's Saturday.
Yes.
Okay, so that should be the day that'll be replaying. So basically, if you're a WHIG TV high school football game of the week fan, you get 3 straight weeks of the Tarboro Vikings coming up. You're still playing Northern, Southern, Southwest. So, hey, that'll be a lot of fun for everybody, us included. But that was to be our game of the week. That's been moved. Yes. So, folks, what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of give you a little rundown of the games that were played. We're going to take a look at the games coming up. Jimmy Lewis from the Wilson Times is going to join us. And if for nothing else, we're just going to catch up with an insider on the first few weeks of Wilson County football. Take a quick look at what's coming up in the future. Folks, we're going to talk some college football for you today.
He's going to talk some college football for you today.
Ed's going to say things like Stanford and Richmond. But anyway, we'll give you the latest Brian Gillen update. We got a good one. Your favorite minute of the week, 60 seconds of soccer.
Especially thrilling this week.
Oh my God. Especially since we didn't play any prim matches.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to be down about there.
No.
And then we're just going to have our sort of general enjoyable fun that we do around here. Okay, and so let's take a look at our Week 3 scoreboard. You guys are seeing it right here. Rocky Mount, Hertford County, that game got moved up. That was a late one game moved up. I believe it was Wednesday that they moved that game up a day. Good idea. Good job for Rocky Mount to do that. They beat Hertford County 35-14. That's about what you would expect from that.
Yeah, B.J. Sanders with a pair of touchdowns. It was a bit unrealistic for them to match last year's output on Hertford County when they put up a 7 spot instead of a 3 right here. But otherwise, I mean, this was a nice effort from Rocky Mount coming back from Middle Creek with a workmanlike dominating win over Hertford County, which is exactly what they should have been.
Absolutely. Still no Sherrod Green this week. Artavius Richardson, continues his tear on the defensive side of the ball.
As you can read about in the Rocky Mount.
That's right. Great article on him this week. For Rocky Mount, as Ed said, it was workmanlike. It was guys, we need to go out and get the result we want.
Yeah.
And get home before we get soaking wet.
Yes.
That's exactly what they did. Good win for Rocky Mount, gets them back on track, because it's going to get fun next week when they take on the Rapids of J.H. Rose.
They got to go to Greenville for that.
That could be a fun football game.
Mm-hmm. Still, that's actually in a little bit more. They first have to take on Eatonton Holmes.
Is it Holmes and then Rose?
It's Holmes and then Rose.
Okay, so Eatonton Holmes, who has beaten Southwest Edgecombe already this year. Good, strong football team in the really northeastern part of the state.
But we talked about Northern and Tarboro stretches. This is a team that I think was vital for them to go ahead and get that game. Can you imagine them playing on Monday, them having to go then either to Eatonton, then come back home, play Hertford County on a Monday, and then go to Rose that Friday?
That would have been brutal.
So,
that would have been brutal. So, Rocky County good enough. Folks, a team who sits above 500 for the first time in quite a while.
Since 2012. Also since their first home win in 2012.
Oh, wow. That's true. Nash Central beating North Johnson 43-15. This was a game that a year ago, coming kind of off this same scenario, Nash Central had broken the streak, that long losing streak. They got the big win off Smithfield-Selma. They were flying high. They came in the next week to a team that they should have beaten North Johnston, and they laid an egg. They fell flat and lost I believe it was a 1-point game. This year, Nash Central shows, hey, maybe they have grown a little bit, because they get the big win over Smithfield-Selma. And then they go out and they basically annihilate North Johnson. 43-15, that may have even been a scoreline to flatter.
Yeah, North Johnson scored late. And I'll tell you what, too, really impressive, I think, for Nash Central. North Johnson comes out on the opening kickoff, onside kicks, and recovers. Central comes up with a big drive stand there to get the ball back and sort of negate any more problems. And then they go up and basically, until the end of the game, only give up one touchdown to North Johnston and just blow them out of the water. Is it time we start taking Nash Central a little more seriously? Well, as far as what they might be able to do once they reach the Big East?
And let's just be real.
Yes.
Because we keeps it real here. 100.
We keep it 100.
We keep it 100 here.
Yeah.
Looking at the early schedule, we thought there was a good chance Nash Central could be 2-1. We thought the schedule worked out. Smithfield-Selma, you always thought they were going to win. I thought last year they were better than North Johnston. They just did not win the football game. Right. They beat North Johnston. They still have that ugly loss to Tarboro to open the season. And real quick, what's the rest of that non-conference schedule?
Well, you have your go-to Southwest Edgecombe, which, Southwest Edgecombe, as we'll get to in a little bit, is going to be playing that game, I believe, on 3 days rest.
Very short week.
Or 2 days rest. Then they go home for Beddingfield on the 16th, which I think could be a winnable game for them. And then they go on the 23rd, they're at Bunn, which could be tough. Bunn is pretty darn good. They've already beaten 5
people.
Yeah, so Bunn's going to be tough. But could we see Nash Central at the end of conference play be 4-2?
They could easily be 500. Southwest is in a tough spot right now, and then we'll get to Southwest. They're on our next page actually. Yes. But Southwest turned around and they didn't even reschedule the game for Monday. They rescheduled it for Tuesday, which means they play Tuesday against a 4A South Central team. As you said, Wednesday, Thursday, you got days off, and Friday you got to turn right around and play a Nash Central team that's actually coming off an extended rest.
Yes.
How FA Cupish is this?
All these replays.
Southwest is playing in Europe, it seems like.
I think that's going to be so bad for them. When Nash Central now has all this momentum, they get the extra rest, they get the Labor Day weekend off, and then they're going to have to come and play a Southwest Edgecombe team that's already short, already injured, dealing with injury problems themselves.
And there's a chance could be 0-3 with 2 days rest going into that game. And then with Tarboro on the horizon, in a couple of weeks, Tarboro on the horizon, it could definitely go the way of Nash Central, and it could be going from bad to worse for that Southwest.
That could snowball really
fast. Southwest Edgecombe right now may be looking like, please God, get us to that bye week. and get us to conference.
Which might not be so bad.
Which might not be quite as bad because that schedule suddenly has gotten very tough right now on the Southwest Michigan Cougars. But Central, big win. They moved to 2-1 on the season, and as you said, Ed, yeah, I'm not ready to throw them in the mix for the Big East title.
No.
But
is this the year they win a conference game?
Could definitely. I mean, and the thing is, the way they're playing now, they could give a lot of teams problems in conference.
Absolutely.
And then you give enough teams problems, something might pop your way, and something good happens. But if nothing else, Chris Lee, it looks like this the Titanic seems like it's starting to turn a little bit.
They're gonna miss the iceberg.
They're gonna miss the iceberg here. Things keep going right. But a great win for Nash Central. Yeah. And I know right now, if you're a Central fan, looking at that schedule before, you've got to be excited to be like
Absolutely. Speaking of a team that's really just kind of dominating its competition right now, even if it's not doing it cleanly all the time, Southern Nash 31, Bun 16.
That's impressive.
Still impressive. 10 penalties for 95 yards for Southern Nash, but they also outrushed Bun 438 to 151 yards.
Southern Nash has a chance this season that most of the teams they're going to play, they are going to physically dominate. They're big, they're fast. They obviously they have the normal Southern Nash depth. Helps me have like 800 kids on your roster. But I mean, that's a bad thing. Southern fans, don't get us wrong there. I would, as a Rocky Mountain guy, I would love to look at my sideline and see 40 kids on my sideline dress. That'd be great every week. Plus my guys on the field. Southern right now they are able to overcome those penalties. Bun was a step up over who they have been playing. Bedingfield, for whatever might happen with Bedingfield, we saw what happened in week 2. Bedingfield just said, "All right, we're good." About beginning of the third quarter, we're good. Don't worry about it. We're fine. Bun, good football team. We've seen them. I think they're going to win a lot of football games this year. For Southern to go in and beat them by 15 points, that's a good day at the office for Southern Nash. Getting that win, coming out of that game relatively healthy is what you're looking to do, and to get another win, I think that's another building block for Southern Nash. If you had to twist my arm right now, folks, I'm a capstone guy. I don't know if Southern Nash isn't once again your conference favorite. Have them up.
Really? You're gonna put them? I would put Rocky Mountain 1, Southern 1A.
Well, I don't know if I might not do that. I know once again, Rocky Mount's not playing with a full deck of cards at the moment.
Sure.
And Rocky Mount, I mean, even with the win over Hertford, it wasn't the cleanest of wins. Yeah. Okay, you can throw some weather in that. You can throw a lot of different factors. I'll just say right now, if you were doing a power poll right now, which those can change week to week just based on what happens. I think right now you maybe edge Southern over Rocky Mount just a little bit.
All right. A game that is still being played as we speak.
It's a long time out.
Kinston 7, Fike nothing. Fourth quarter is where that game stands right now. That'll pick back up on Monday.
And maybe that's one we can talk to Jimmy Lewis about.
Sure.
Because he should have more insight on it. Look, I don't know what was going on in that game. I don't know if Kinston's playing amazing defense. I don't think Kinston's played amazing defense so far this year.
Well, Kinston also did blow out Fike last year.
They did. That's how they did. A much better fight team than we saw. I'm wondering if weather conditions had something to do with this. It is apparently is the beginning of the fourth quarter in that football game. So Fike going to have one quarter to kind of turn around and get things done. I want to see more on a dry field on Monday evening what Fike's able to do. But that would be a good win for Kinston. For Fike, if they can come back and get it, that could be one that really helps propel that team. Because once again, now you got to play. Granted, it's only one quarter on Monday. You still turn around and play on Friday.
Yep, that game will be at Bedingfield. They'll be following that up with a home game against South Granville, and then at Corinth Holders. Speaking of Corinth Holders, their game against Hunt has been postponed. We don't know until when yet.
I don't think we've ever heard yet.
Yeah, so we can ask Jimmy about that.
Jimmy may know that.
One we do know, Bedingfield Green Central has been postponed to Monday at 6 o'clock.
That's right.
So they will be picking up with that game. Then on page 2, we have Rocky Mountain Prep, Northeast Carolina Prep. Also to be determined by some of the language as we post on Twitter. We don't know if that game will ever get made up.
Well, here's what it said. When they said on Twitter, they said the game's been canceled.
Yeah.
Here's the way I look at it. Postponed means exactly what that means. It's been postponed until this date.
Right.
When I hear the word canceled,
it's a little different.
I hear we're not going to play this game. So, maybe it was a loss in terminology somewhere in there. I haven't heard any different. I haven't seen any different.
Right.
So right now, I'm playing under the impression that game is not going to be played, even though I don't understand why, because these are two teams that should be rivals.
Yes.
This is basically Tarboro and Rocky Mount playing each other. I mean, you've got a bye week and they're playing then. Who am I?
Speaking of Tarboro Nash, as we mentioned, postponed 7 o'clock on next Monday, not this coming on Monday. Rocky Mount Academy, Wilson Christian.
Wilson Community Christian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They will be postponed until this coming Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And then Southwest Edgecombe versus South Central in Winterville. That game is also Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So
my living town and your alma mater.
Yes.
Rivalry.
Falcons.
Cougs.
All
right. So anyway, that's a quick look around what did happen, what's still to happen. A lot of stuff still to come, folks. Well, Ed, right now, do we want to move to the most exciting minute of the week? Well, maybe I look to get Jimmy Lewis on the line.
We can absolutely do that because it's time for 60 seconds of soccer. I realize now that I have my laptop and our nice boom mic right here.
We could play on this, right?
We could actually play it out. We'll do it next week.
We'll do it next week. Okay, maybe we'll see what we can do. Maybe to make this just a little less suboptimally.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. But these two guys. Don't look at that. Don't look at
that.
that.
Yeah, that's a spoiler.
Yeah, spoilers. We do have those 60 seconds of soccer coming your way. And I will go ahead and take the first 30 seconds here. No Premier League this week. As we mentioned, we are on international break. So unfortunately, live television, everybody. The United States men's national team, though, they had a very strong game on Friday when they had to take on both St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the same time. Never fair. They blew them out of the water 6-0. Christian Pulisic, future Liverpool star, obviously. Current Borussia Dortmund star, 2 goals in that match because of the Jurgen Klopp connection. But you have 30 seconds and you have a last-minute winner. It wasn't the final 30 seconds.
It's about all they needed. It's about all that mattered. 95 minutes today, England played Slovakia in a World Cup qualifier, and the only 30 seconds that mattered were the last 30, where Liverpool legend, now England legend, Adam Lallana, I'm such a big fan, latched on to the end of a pass coming across the box, turned it in, and in Big Sam's debut, that might have been the most Big Sam of scores. Final, England 1, Slovakia 0. That was 10-man Slovakia, by the way.
Yeah, thanks to former Liverpool great
star Martin Skirtle finding himself red-carded about the 57th. To me, it was typical Sam Allardyce football. Keep it close. Try to win it late. My God, England has become Sunderland.
Hey, 11 straight matches in World Cup qualifying. Perfect. That's all that matters.
Jesus.
You'll lose to Spain in the quarters, don't you worry.
No doubt. On penalties. All right, folks. That's it. That's it for football. We didn't have a lot this week. Just wait until the podcast. This will really be tough. Folks, we bring on now for the first time this season here on the All New Sports Show.
Yes.
We welcome Jimmy Lewis, Wilson Times. Jimmy, welcome back to the All New Sports Show.
Thanks, Wes. Pleasure to be with you guys as always.
Well, Jimmy, it was a weekend where you guys didn't get any finals.
Yeah.
Fife is playing, and apparently still currently they're standing on the field just waiting for the whistle to blow to go back into that game. 2 games postponed. So, Jimmy, real quick, let's start just talking a little bit about that Fife Kinston game. Let's kind of get kind of a feeling of where we are, and then we'll move on and we'll just talk a little early season Wilson County football, all right? So what do you know about Fife Kinston right now?
Well, as you said, Fife Kinston as it stands right now, the Lightning came after the end of the third quarter, and they tried to restart that game, and they ultimately could not do so. So what's going to happen is Kinston's going to take a 7-0 lead into Monday at 5 o'clock, where Fife will jump on the bus and they will head back to Kinston for 12 more minutes of headbanging football and see if they can tie that game and take the lead. Kinston will be punting from deep in their own territory when the game resumes, so Fife should have a chance to strike quickly. What
do we know about kind of the way that game has gone so far? Fife Fike's been pretty impressive early here in the season, and right now being shut out by Kinston.
Yeah, well, one thing I can say about Fike right now, they had a lot of defensive problems, particularly last year, and that was really one of the big things that held them back. But this year, I've seen them play. I've seen them play against Blood. They won that game. No, they didn't win. They didn't win that game. I'm sorry, they lost at 24-20. But their defense was on point. They didn't give up the big play by any stretch. But Blood just really stayed on the field and just got the 3-yard game, the 4-yard game. Andrew Ferris, who came over from Hunt to be their co-defensive coordinator, has really done a lot to improve that defense. So Fike appears to be a lot more fundamentally sound on the defensive side. And then when you turn over to the offensive side, to have a new quarterback replacing DJ Daniels, who went on to play professional part of the Blue Jays organization. Gage West is now the guy behind center. He's a very capable kid who can run that offense. He's not afraid to keep the ball and put his head down and get tough yards. He has a good receiver in senior Logan Hill, who you can hit in the short to intermediate passing game. And whenever Fike offense is moving, it's moving at a nice steady tempo. Coach Tom Nelson has put that tempo offense in. When it's humming, it's a good thing to watch. Kenny Johnson's a good target in the screen game. And he gets to the edge, he can cause the defense problems. I like where Fike is, but it's just a little early to tell in which direction they'll go. One area where Fike really does enjoy great advance is in their special teams. They have 3 capable kickers on their roster. Noel Ruiz and the Gallarvis twins, Walker and John. Noel actually tied the Fike record against Bun by as well as a 49-yard field goal at the end of the half. So they definitely have some weapons there as far as the special teams are concerned. Because in high school football, field goals are far from a guarantee. So that's quite the luxury for Tom Nelson and company.
Certainly. And, another team that I think we're still kind of waiting to see exactly how they're going to be shaping up here going forward. And they didn't play this past week against Corinth Holders, but that's Hunt. They had the big early loss to Lumberton, getting shut out down there, and then coming back and beating Hertford County on the road 27-12. A lot of transition, though, at Hunt High School and as part of their coaching staff. You talked about one of their coordinators going over to Fike this year. Of course, former head coach Stevie Hennett retiring. So a lot of transitioning there. What's kind of the mood around Hunt, and where's kind of their outlook right now through 2 games?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head with the word transition. Keith Byram, the assistant head coach and running backs coach last year, when I stepped into the head coaching role, and Hunt's actually down 2 assistants right now. I mean, they had not filled those positions, so Hunt coaching staff has really been busy during the game. They really can't coach their kids per se. They just have to keep their eyes on the game situation. They really can't go talk to their kids individually because they're down 2 assistant coaches. So Coach Byram wasn't going to make that excuse, though. He's been very adamant about that in the preseason and through 2 ball games. But right now, as far as the on-the-field product, it's still kind of hard for me to put a finger on what Hunt's going to be. I by no means expected the 40-0 score week 1 against Lumberton. That kind of threw me for a loop. And then the second week, I thought, well, how are they going to respond by having to go down to the end of the world in Hertford County and Hosky? They actually had a adventure going down there. Their bus had to make a U-turn in traffic, and apparently it got stuck. So the players had to disembark and stand out in the heat, whereas the coaches had to sit there and direct traffic on their way to the ball game. So they had a nice little adventure on their way up to Hertford County. But once they got there, the run defense was on point in that victory. They certainly have some weapons on the offense.
Oh no, Jimmy, come back to us.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, good.
Okay. Kind of broke up on us for a moment. Well, Jimmy, so, Hunt's still kind of the great unknown of what we're going to totally get from Hunt this year. Hopefully they get those spots filled quickly on the coaching staff. Luckily, that's one thing. You kind of start your season, you've got your players. You always still bring in a coach, so hopefully that'll get done. Talking about a team that not quite in the transition yet, but they will be after this season in Wilson County. Bedingfield, Tyrone Johnson in his final season And, they get the nice win week 1. Week 2, they get absolutely shellacked by Southern Nash. Where do you think that Bedingfield sits at the moment?
It's obviously.
It's going to be the irony of ironies that Tyrone Johnson, a man who is not afraid to attack you down the field and use the passing game for points on the board. This is going to be a team that struggles to throw the football for any meaningful yardage. You've got a 3-quarterback system right now, if you can call it that, in Barry Bullock, Marcus Parker, and Derek Chapman. Joe Pinder's also in that mix too. I think he said Pinder was going to be the starting quarterback against Green Central before the ball game got moved to tomorrow night, or Monday night rather, at 6. They just don't have the ability to scare teams right now, particularly on defense. I don't think that defense is that bad despite getting shut out 48-0 by Southern Nash. That defense was on the field quite a bit thanks to the I don't know a better word, but the ineptitude of the offense. They were really on the field for much of that ball game, and if you're on the field for a long time against Southern Nash, you're gonna certainly pay for it.
Without a doubt on that, Jimmy. Do you see this team, if they can get the quarterback situation resolved, get some just not even great, just some solid play on their quarterback? I mean, do you think this is a team that can still put together a pretty solid season before it's said and done, or is it just a road too far this year for Bedingfield?
Well, you never want to rule anything out by any stretch of the imagination. They do have some speed. They do have some capability. Their main playmaker on the offensive side, Kenny Sims, he went down with a hip injury against the Firebirds, and his status for Green Central is up in the air, and there's still a long way to go in this season. I mean, when they put Marcus Parker back there at quarterback and let him take the direct snaps, and Parker just going straight ahead and getting what he can, I actually like that the best out of all their quarterbacks. Chapman's quick, but anytime you put Parker back there and just let him go straight ahead, I do like the way that's going. Offensive coordinator James Ward, after serving as the defensive coordinator for the past few years, this is his first year being the offensive play caller, and I know he's going to be pulling his hair out with the way Bedingfield has struggled to move the football. They've also turned the ball over 11 times in 2 games, and just you can't win ball games like that.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, we thank you so much for hopping on with us today. Of course, as the season goes, we definitely hope to have you back here some more on the All New Sports Show. So thank you so much for joining us this Sunday afternoon.
All right, thanks. Glad to be on.
Have a good one, Jimmy.
All right.
So it's Jimmy Lewis, Wilson Times. Big thanks to him for hopping on with us here. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a nice little preview.
Yes.
I guess, since we didn't get our normal preseason previews in that we've done in the past, there's our 2 weeks in Wilson County preview for you
Hey,
guys.
it's just like the Premier League with the transfer window. These teams aren't done yet.
No one's done, folks. It's still early.
I'm still looking for coaches, apparently. So.
I mean, the only team that we can really lock in is Arsenal the 4th. That's it. Nothing else.
Northern and Central finishing fifth.
Oh!
I'm kidding.
Oh,
I love you guys. I love you.
me. You guys know me. Big Green West.
Yeah, sure. Real quickly, let's go through the Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack. We haven't updated this because I believe only one of these games actually went final, and that was Southern Nash over Bunn. So he did get that one. So right now, Wes is 1-0. The way we're going to do this is we're just going to kind of push these to the side, and then we're just going to add these wins in as they get played. Obviously, Tarboro Northern Nash won't be played until next Monday.
I don't know what happened there for old Big Green West.
Yeah. Hunt over Corinth Holders, so we're going to have to wait and see whenever that gets played. That might get played during the bye week, which would suck for Hunt. Green Central and Bedingfield, that gets played Monday, and then Rocky Mount Prep. If a game doesn't get played, we're just going to count it as a win. So that's what we're going to do. So he did get that one right. I also picked Southern Nash over Bunn. I do have Fike over Kinston, so Fike, would be very good if you guys started scoring some points. And I believe the only one to pick Kinston is Mr. Clint Williams.
Kiss of death.
So yeah, They're obviously losing.
Well, he didn't have Central this week for him to pick.
Yeah. Southern over Bun. He did get that one. So all of us picked Southern over Bun. So all of us are currently 1-0 in this week. And we'll be ready for the other 5 games soon. But do stick around. We'll have another
4 games or however many actually get played. We'll see.
We'll have another Crystal Clear Pepsi 6-pack coming for you later this week of our week 4 picks.
That's right. And of course, as it would say, we'll get those updated as they go. So,
Yeah.
And all that matters is where we are at the end of the season.
Yes. Anyway, that's all.
So, real quick, before we talk a little college football, Brian Goodwin update. Folks,
Yeah.
That's the update we kind of felt we would be giving you coming up. Once those rosters expanded September 1st, on Friday, Brian Goodwin was recalled to the Washington Nationals. So they basically, once they open it up, you can call anyone up off of your 40-man roster. So you can basically have 40 guys on your bench to be able to use. Now, playoff roster, that differs. That'll be interesting. I don't know how optimistic I am that Brian will make the playoff roster. And it does look like the Nationals are in a very good spot to make the playoffs. So, but hey, who knows? Something I read today said more or less he's probably going to be used for pinch hitting situations, maybe some late inning defensive substitutions.
Well, we thought Yoan Moncada was just going to be a pinch runner for Boston, and
he's just amazing. But that's Yoan Moncada.
That's true.
Don't get me started there, folks. You don't have the time. Great luck, good luck to Brian. Hey, guys up in the major leagues, he's in a playoff race.
Yep.
You can't beat it. He's in a pennant race immediately. I mean, life doesn't get much better than that. So good luck to Brian. Hopefully he'll be able to turn some heads while he's up there, and maybe let's see if we can stick next spring. You never know. Never know. Ticks, buddy. Ticks.
We would love to do an all new sports show Facebook Live from Nationals Park.
Oh, exactly. Especially get us out around your clubhouse.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. Catering.
That's why we go anywhere.
That's why I go anywhere to get the free meal.
Yeah.
Go figure. All right, folks. Now we are going to turn our attention back to the gridiron.
Yeah.
We've been to the pitches
Yes.
of Europe.
Yes.
We've been to the diamonds of Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
We've been around our Tri-County area. And now, folks, we hit the national gridiron for the biggest football league in the world, because we don't recognize the NFL as even being there.
Nope.
After you're done with college football, you obviously matriculate on into your career path that you've learned in college. Folks, it is time to talk some college football, and ESPN kept saying it yesterday, and I kind of agree with them. I agree with them.
I'll believe you on this because I don't know what you're about to say.
Maybe the biggest opening day ever.
Probably.
When usually when college football opens, you get
Grambling State versus Florida State.
Or you get what Ohio State does, which is play Bowling Green or Nick Petrovich and the all-match in Ohio.
Or Michigan playing some DAA team called Appalachian State.
Exactly. But this year Michigan decided to play Hawaii. So, the Big Ten, the two Big Ten schools, of course, they didn't play anyone normal. But we had an absolute, we had a New Year's Day worthy roster yesterday. I came out watching football at noon. I never watched the noon game. Oklahoma, Houston.
It's pretty good.
It was a great football game.
You're not an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, of course, Oklahoma goes ahead and gets their yearly choke out of the way early. That's strategy.
Bob Stoops is smart.
The 3:30 games, LSU. Wow. If they literally had anyone who could throw a football on that roster, LSU might be the best team in the country. Poor Leonard. And Wisconsin springs the upset on LSU, and unfortunately for Les Miles, he kept his job and didn't get a quarterback. Apparently they've got one coming next year.
Yeah.
So everything's good.
Gotta keep him then.
Got it. The big one in these parts, I would be guessing, the 5:30 kickoff, the Chick-fil-A Classic. It was what everyone in Eastern North Carolina loves. The Tar Heels and Chick-fil-A. Take away the Tar Heels.
Well, it's
we
Sunday,
got
so.
Chick-fil-A, and it's Sunday we can. Georgia, which is of course our adopted team,
Yes,
of
it
course,
is.
on the All New Sports
Because
Show.
of Todd Gurley.
Because Todd Gurley was the first ever guest on the All New Sports Show,
Yes, it is.
and now he's gonna win the NFL MVP. So
Even though we won't recognize it.
we helped launch that career.
Pretty much.
Because apparently that little side league up there.
Mark Richt, when he was the head coach at Georgia, only discovered Todd Gurley because of us.
No doubt, because he saw our hype Friday Night Football where he was returning kicks all over the place. Georgia, North Carolina, Really good football game. Ed, I believe you saw a whole play of that.
I saw a whole play.
And then turned it off. Good job.
Yeah.
Georgia coming back late, getting a win over North Carolina. Ends up being 33-24. Georgia scoring late on a Nick Chubb run. Chubb comes in. Carolina's run defense woes of last season continue as Nick Chubb runs for 222. And then they ran for another 60, 70, 80 yards, I think, with other guys running the football. So Georgia run the ball well. They've got the young quarterback, Jacob Eason, got in, had a huge throw late in that game that set him up for a score. He looks like he's going to be the real deal. He was last year's kind of can't-miss quarterback prospect. They end up getting him at Georgia, sticks around even after Rick leaves. Georgia gets a big win over Carolina. That said, Tar Heel fans, you know I'm not a fan, but I'm going to go ahead and soften the blow here because I'm such a nice person. Carolina's going to be good this year.
Yeah.
They're not going to see a lot more teams like that. I mean, you're not going to beat Miami.
Yeah, of course.
You're not going to beat Miami by any means. But North Carolina is going to have they're going to have a good season ahead of them. Larry Fedora is a good coach. And that program is working in the right direction. I'm going to give them that. Recruiting actually is picking up, especially in state, which apparently no one in state can recruit in-state players anymore. But don't blame them. In the nightcap, we had two big night games.
Yes.
At 8 o'clock, we had USC, Alabama. On paper, that sounds really great, doesn't it?
2004. That's going to be a great game.
2004, literally, it would have just been a reverse because Alabama stunk.
That's true.
So, unfortunately, they met at a time where it wasn't quite going very well for the men of Troy. My favorite thing was the guy on Fox Sports Radio on Saturday morning who said, these two teams, they're comparable talent-wise, and I think tonight USC's going to beat Alabama. Go ahead and mark it down. USC's beating Alabama.
We marked it down.
52-6 later. And, folks, I'm sorry, Alabama's the number one team in the country. I don't really think anybody has a big fight after week one.
Nope. I don't even know who number 2 is.
Well, number 2 played in the 9 o'clock. That is the Clemson Tigers.
Oh, yeah, they're my friend. Yeah, I did actually know that,
Clemson, the destination for all of North Carolina's best talent, apparently, is to go to Clemson.
In South Carolina.
Sherrod, we love you, buddy.
Yeah.
Jeez, Edward.
Just saying.
Just saying. Hey, it's a great state to go play football in, apparently.
Yeah.
But Clemson holding off a late charge from Auburn, who seriously had a pretty bad high school offense, much less a college offense. 19-13 a final. That said, Auburn defensively, they shut Clemson down about as well as you could. Hold them 19 points. So
enjoy the Hunger Games.
SEC Hunger Games. Oh my God, they're back. But of course, Alabama still sitting on top after week one. Ed, give us your college football take.
Stanford, they won. That's what I was told.
Virginia.
They didn't play.
Virginia.
They didn't play.
Richmond.
They actually didn't play.
Yeah.
Richmond's a great campus.
Gorgeous.
Great school. Great school.
Glorious.
Great school.
Glorious.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, folks. That's going to wrap up college football talk. Sorry it wasn't a little better. Maybe next week I'll have to give Ed give him a memo.
Crib notes.
I have to give him notes next week so he can contribute. But anyway, that's what
Michigan State looked really good.
Actually, they did.
Boston College played a football game.
It's true.
Wake Forest won 7-0.
Probably. But no one knows. All right, buddy, so that's our little college football talk, which we kind of had to have to make up some time this week. So
yeah.
Don't hold that one against Ed because I came prepared as usual. Folks, anytime, hey, if you want to add something to this conversation, you can get us on our Facebook page. You can get us on our Twitter page. You can get us both on our personal Twitter pages. And, folks, this is where Ed Green comes in big. Ed Green, it's time to put us over.
Oh, well, of course, you can find us on the Twitter at All New Sports Show. Of course, you're watching us now live on Facebook, facebook.com/All New Sports Show, in case you need to tell your friends about it. You can also find these on YouTube, youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. You can email us, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Finally, mail us letters parcels to 1701 Sunset Avenue, Suite 201, Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 27804. Individually, we can be found on Twitter.
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
I am at Edward Green. And lastly, do check out our podcast if you like the soccer talk. If you like wrestling talk as well, he does that. You can find that at the Foreign Affair Podcast. That's on iTunes, Google Play Music Store, and you can always catch all the links on our Facebook page as well, right here on the All New Sports Show page, our sister show. So.
That's right. So, folks, we're hitting that sweet spot of the year when it comes to sport. College football's back. The Premier League is back in full force. Baseball is hitting the pennant races.
Go Boston.
You know, the Olympics are over for literally as long as we can get rid of them for the next 4 years. So that's a big thing. And then something else starts. But anyway, and of course, high school football, you are really starting to hit your stride here in high school football. So as long as the Hurricanes will stay away, not the Miami type.
Or the Carolina.
That's right. We're talking the Mother Nature type.
Yes.
Stay away. Let us have our Friday nights.
Please.
I think we're coming up on a big weekend. Do you want to knock out who everybody's got this
Real quick,
week?
as that's happening. Flag, of course, finishes up with Kinston, and then they're going to Beddingfield. Hunt will be taking on Northeastern at home. That sets up a 3-game homestand for them. Nash Central, as we mentioned, gets Southwest Edgecombe. They'll be heading to Pine Tops.
That's where we'll be. That'll be the WHIG TV High School Football Game of the Week this week. Nash Central, Southwest Edgecombe.
Absolutely. Northern traveling to Wilmington to take on Laney. Rocky Mount going to Edenton Holmes. Southern Nash, they're home for South Johnston.
John Holmes High School, and it's a big obstacle.
Oh yeah. I don't get that reference. Not Captain America. Beddingfield, as we mentioned, they're taking on Fike, Southwest Edgecombe, Nash Central, and then in our 1A ranks, North Edgecombe back on the football this week. They're hosting Southeast Halifax. Rocky Mountain Prep gets Village Christian at home, and finally Tarboro will be at Franklinton. Okay. So that does it.
All right, folks, so that's going to do it. Like we said, hit us up with your comments. Hit us up with anything. If there's something you want us to talk about, maybe we will. Let us know. Big thanks to everyone who checked out those videos last week. We had 10,000 views.
Yeah, very cool.
On our player of the game with Kendra Bell.
And we can't wait to bring you another one next week.
That's right, folks. We'll have those returned next week as we get them. So, for Ed Green, I'm Wes Bradshaw. For one name producer, Jackie. No one?
Yeah, very beautiful.
Folks, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the All New Sports Show. We will see you guys back here next week.